can't see for looking. I can't see the forest for the trees. And if I keep on pushing, there'll be no point looking. There'll be nothing left there to see. And I can't drink the water. Yes, I guess I'll have to see. You know the river's just not for sale. There's a 40,000-year-old tale. The river's just not for sale, and it used to live and breathe. I can't believe your grief. I can't believe the stolen beauty. The river was deep, its banks were steep. Much might be made of this little stream. And I can't drink the water. Yes, I guess I'll have to see. The river's just not for sale. There's a 40,000-year-old tale. The river's just not for sale, and it used to live and breathe. I can't think what the spirit knows. I can't think what the elder folk feel, who made a lottery prize of their light to shine. 160 years of attitude shows. Yeah. I can't see the forest for the trees. And if I keep on pushing, there'll be no point looking. There'll be nothing left there to see. Now I can't drink the water. Yes, I guess I'll have to see. You know the river's just not for sale. There's a 40,000-year-old tale. The river's just not for sale, and it used to live and breathe. Now I can't drink the water. Well, we'll just have to see.
Hi everybody and welcome to another episode, and tonight I've got Phil Salter with me, and Phil has been a performer for many years, since 1972.
Started to learn to play in
I
1970.
started learning to play. He's performed in the Adelaide Connection, which is something we're going to come back to in a little while. Played lead guitar for Jesus Christ Superstar.
That was a kid.
Come back to that as well. Has had a number of independent releases, including Genoa Set, Burn Down the Mountain, and Long White Line. That was back in 2022.
22, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And more recently, Something Special and the latest big surprise, both released in
23.
23, yeah. But let's go back in time a little bit and talk about, what inspired you to, to become a musician.
You mentioned 1972. I started to play in 72. I was gigging in folk clubs by about 78. But getting started, I don't know, I I was watching the Monkeys back then, you know, coming home from school and watching the Monkeys and wanted to be Mickey Dolenz. And just all the... We didn't have a lot of music around, really, in those days. Not much radio in our house, thinking about it. So I suppose that's why the TV, you know, if they played a Beatles movie, it was something really, really special, and you'd wait for weeks to watch that. And so just kid stuff. Like you hear someone playing, they're your hero, and you want to emulate your heroes. I wanted to play guitar and be like John Lennon.
The guitar your first instrument? Or
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I got given a guitar, a nylon string jobby from Kmart, you know, $12, you know, by mum and dad, and I had that for a few years, about 4 years. Then I got a electric guitar from Kmart. Mum and dad bought me.
Yeah.
And then I think I was about 16 and got some guitar lessons from a local country legend now, really, Jim Hurwell, who does very well all over the country with his wife, Virginia, and their bands. So, yeah, started to play at 16 and developed my acoustic playing and started playing in folk clubs, playing, I don't know, Jim Croce and James Taylor and John Denver and those kind of people.
who were quite popular at that time.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about the Adelaide Connection, because that is actually quite an interesting experience, working
It was
with Don Burrows and...
James Morrison, George Goller on guitar.
Yeah.
I was at uni studying to be a music teacher, and they had a jazz choir, and it was part of the program. If you wanted to, I elected, yeah, I'd like to do that, please. John Mackenzie was the choral director who had a big reputation from playing opera stuff in the UK, and singing 4-part harmony and up to 10-part at one point. Kirby Shaw was a vocal arranger in the States, so we sang a lot of his charts. And we'd go to the Manly Jazz Festival. I remember going over there on bus to the Manly Jazz Festival. And then this, I don't know how it happened, of course, it had nothing to do with me. I was just in the choir, but it was announced, we're going to do this recording with Don and James. And at the ABC Studios, 1984, I recorded in a couple of days. And to me, there's no bigger, probably even to this day, one of the most excellent experiences you can have as a musician is singing with this person there and that person there, and you hear all the voices and you're blending your harmonies and singing.
Yeah.
4-part, and so at one point I remember one song's up to 10-part harmony.
Yeah.
Fantastic experience, yeah. Very, very lucky to be involved in that.
And you're a baritone. Is that...
Well, yeah, when I was singing, yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a...
Bass baritone, you'd sing down there. I mean, I'm probably reached the upper ends of that.
Yeah.
I don't think about it in those terms, I suppose, anymore, but yeah.
So then years go by, and at the age of 28, you decide to make a move to Sydney. No, Victoria.
To Victoria, yeah. I qualified as a teacher, graduated in a high school music teacher. Graduated. I've been playing in bands the whole way through uni, sort of making a bit of money. And we graduated in 86 and only had contracts. There wasn't much work around. And I'd had a get together with some of the kids that I graduated with a few months after we graduated, and a number of them had got jobs in Victoria. They said, "Oh, go to Victoria, there's lots of work." I rang Spring Street the following Monday morning and wound up with numbers to 3 or 4 high schools, got in the car, went over, met some principals, and I was gone with my family a matter of months later. And that kicked off my teaching career, music teaching career, and of course in Victoria had another band. You mentioned JC Superstar. I'm stealing your thunder.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, but JC Superstar. So I got to Shepparton and started playing in the high school. And within a week, I'd got a phone call or a tap on the shoulder from a local community music organisation, Shepparton Theatre Arts Group. Yeah. Great bunch of people. They'd heard I was in town. I think the first phone call I got was, "Oh, you're a clarinet player, guitar player." So they were looking for a guitar player. So when I'd been there about a month, and I start a rehearsal for JC Superstar, and there was no Mickey Mouse production. They had a 20 or 25 piece choir and a full orchestra with rhythm section. And it was just such a thrill. But the lead guitar, of course, is a very major part of that show. So it was one of my peak times, I suppose, as being a solo lead guitar player, was to play that show, because the show opens up. Anyone knows the show, everyone's listening to you. I did about 8 performances and never actually mucked anything up. I was pretty...
Oh, that's an accomplishment. Because when we talked on the phone, I want to talk about, you said that was where you started writing music and taking it seriously.
Yeah. While I was in Shepparton, life had settled down a bit. I had the time, and I was playing in a band regularly, just a covers band, playing all over the northern Victoria, out of Shepparton, Kyabram, wherever we got gigs. Yeah, I did. I didn't know much about the craft of songwriting, I realised later on, and I did my best. I was picking up on ideas that I'd had in journals. Even then, it had been lying around for 10 years or more, but in Shepparton, I put them together. And I did a recording. I went to a local recording studio out in the middle of a cowfield in Shepparton. It was a great studio, though, really well set up, a 24-track. Back in the day, 24-track 2-inch tape, I still got the 2-inch masters in the loft somewhere at home. And I recorded a 8-track CD that I really, there was no way to release it because there was no, unless you had record company backing or you paid for you didn't pay, you had to get a distributor, which I could never get because I didn't have the track record.
That's right.
So, I optimistically printed 1,000 copies of that. I've probably got it undisclosed. Some have been still at home. But, it was just a great experience in learning a craft.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I came back to Adelaide that I was exposed to some people that were able to guide me in the real craft of songwriting.
I want to come back to to those quirky things like you were saying about, the printing 100 CDs and were they CDs about? Were they?
Yeah.
That was
It
was in the CD.
It was CDs. Yeah.
You're building your craft as a songwriter to the point that you're actually making some contacts overseas and actually getting in touch with some publisher overseas.
Yeah. I was tied up at the time heavily, in the South Australian music industry. I was on the board of the South Australian Music Industry Association Committee at one point, and we had at the time Music Business Adelaide happening through we'll talk about that earlier, and it's that the Oz Music and so on. And there was a publisher in town at one of the meetings, I think the same year meetings, and he was from a company called People Music in Taiwan. And literally, they were farming for songwriters to write canto pop for their artists, which I thought was a strange thing, why they'd need to come down here looking for, songwriters from Australia. But I got this fellow's, Mick Vicker Wong was his name, Mick Vicker Wong. And he started sending me down cassette tapes of canto pop songs in Mandarin Chinese. I didn't understand the lyrics, but I sure understood the style. So I started to use, again, that craft that I'd learned, that how to write a song, I would say painters mount a canvas and they draw a sketch and then they do the background. That's their craft. They learn the craft. And so I applied that to some of these songs, and I'd send them up. I'd record a song fairly quickly. It's a very cheap, backyard. I didn't have the ability myself to record. I would sequence the music, the drums and the bass, sequence all that, go in, run a sequence onto a tape, play the guitar myself, and hire a session musician, which is actually usually someone you guys know well, which was Deborah Knott, because she was always around and would do great vocals for me because they were, girl pop songs. I'd send them up, and one night I remember the fax machine going off about 2 a.m, and I had a hit from one of the companies up there. They'd shortlisted me for an album project, one of their big stars whose name I don't remember. It didn't come off, I didn't actually get it signed, but I was close, and it was like, I was happy, because that's validation, for someone to go, I like your song enough and we're going to, so I thought that was great, I got a couple of hits, but never published as it were, but it's just a great part of the process for developing. I keep saying developing the craft. Yeah.
So we move on down the years, and now we're in. I want to get to this to the videos that you've just recently recorded, and talk in particular about Something Special. So that's the first video that self-financed and.
Yeah, indeed.
So what's the inspiration for that?
The song inspiration.
Yeah.
That song had its germs. I wrote it I was pitching songs around the same time actually.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting next to in some Music Business Adelaide meeting next to John Farnham's lawyer. But I'd written the song initially specifically for John as a rock song. I've got a demo of it in quite a hard rock, energetic, you're the voice type of big song. And I remember giving it to the lawyer, and he was going to give it to John. I don't know if John ever heard it. John certainly did never record it. But it was an inspirational song. You Can Be Something. I don't know really where the germ came from. I don't really remember that. But the song was originally written in about 97. Inspirational songs.
Something special. I had to listen to it, and I watched a video, and I can sort of picture some in another version. I can see where you're coming from with the Johnny Farman, possibility, because it is a sort of uplifting. It's meant to be an uplifting.
Yeah, I think that worked. Yeah, I'm really proud of it.
It's time for you guys out there to watch the video. So this is called Something Special, and hope you enjoy it.
When you were a kid, did you try and fly from the trees and run to mum and dad? When you skinned your knees, did you fish in puddles? 'Cause you just couldn't see, and nobody told you that it just couldn't be. Did you see yourself standing at the top of the hill? Did you see yourself winning? Then you know that you will be all that you wanna be, and more than you dream. If you keep looking back, you can only see where you've been. You can be all that you wanna be, and more than you dream. You know that you can be something special. We're shy of the one who would have had the first dance and lose for a lifetime. One extraordinary chance. Did you run for your rival and not stand for your right, and suddenly find that you couldn't sleep at night? Did you see yourself standing on a stage of the lights with your hand on the first prize? This could be the right time to be all that you wanna be, and more than you dream. If you keep looking back, you can only see where you've been. You can be all that you wanna be, and more than you dream. You know that you can be something special. No more waiting and no more wondering. There's a train at the station, you better get on board. All that you wanna be, and more than you dream. If you keep looking back, you can only see where you've been. You can be all that you wanna be, and more than you dream. You know that you can be something special. You can be all that you wanna be, and more than you dream. You know that you can be something special.
Okay, welcome back. I want to compare the process, the industry process, and all the to how when you first got those 1,000 CDs, right? Which was and like you said back in the day, you would not get those CDs out anywhere unless you were signed to a publisher.
Yeah.
We moved to 2000 and plus, right? Things start to change. And a lot of artists start getting the ability to actually self-distribute.
Absolutely.
And this is where you are now. So what's the difference for you? How do you manage that?
Wow. Well, I'd been out of the industry for a while, and then I'd get my feelers back in and discover these things that we have an aggregator. I think they're called an aggregator. I perhaps shouldn't name them, but it's someone that I pay. It doesn't cost very much either. I think it's only like $35, not even that much. You send them the song, it's mastered, and they distribute it, and they like a publisher would, or a record company back in the day, and they take a small percentage, and it is really quite a small percentage for that distribution, and they put it onto iTunes and Amazon Music and all of those platforms that we have. So you're self-published. Here's your $35. Thank you very much. I'm all over the world. Anyone in the world can hear it, has the opportunity to hear it, and can buy it. Just life-changing. If you do, of course, the only unfortunate thing about that is that everyone in the world's doing it now.
That's right.
So you've got that advantage of being able to do it, but you're a very small person in a very big sea. But so I use publicists as you should. A couple of publishers usually for each song, and that's worked really well because right from the get-go with the first song, Jenna was set, I got airplay all over the world. I know, like the last one, we just talked about something special. It's been played in a lot of New Zealand. I've been played in Germany, the Netherlands, UK, London. Some internet radio, some community-based radio. It's amazing. So we can do that now. We couldn't do that before.
No, that's right.
Now it's all about finding a way to get your head above the water.
That's right.
And I've just sort of threw you guys call me up and we're here, and that's wonderful. I got a call back in December from a Nashville record.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Just filling me out. So I'm doing enough for someone in Nashville to go, oh, who is this guy? He's interesting. They'd seen my socials and seen the video clips, the YouTube clips and what have you. And they approached me in a bit of a chat for a week or two, and they passed again. I keep getting these nibbles. I think they found out how old I was. I don't know, but again, it's like for me, it's validation, and I'm sure I don't mind. Passed on me for now. So,
this is an endless story with any kind of arts. It takes the process is tedious, and it's not always the talent that actually wins out at the end.
Talent is the most disposable commodity in the music industry. Was a saying we used to use all the time back in the day. Because you have to. But now this thing we have got the ways to do this. Yes, and you need to use a publicist and keep working at it. Work on very hard on that aspect. But hey, we can do it now.
Yeah. So this brings us to the second song, and this is a pretty special song. When I heard it, I sort of I thought, oh, wow, this is pretty. I reckon there's something, there's a special story behind that. It's called Big Surprise.
Big surprise about my daughter, about the baby girl, and just I think, the dad. The dad that is just so totally blown away by that real basic life experience, a baby, oh my gosh, that's amazing, and then looking at that entity and thinking, who is she? What's she going to be?
Yeah.
The father goes into overdrive. His head in the story, his head starts to get carried away. And he goes, oh no, she's going to go to school, and then she's going to grow up, and I'm going to have to get a shotgun and kick boys away from the door. And so it's got a sort of a humorous element in it like that. But
it's a human story as well, because when you think about it, most parents, all parents generally, have this going on through when they have a newborn child, and that's what the song does is it touches the average person.
Good.
You know, in a way that they can sort of relate to that.
I think of it a bit like Brian Cadd's Little Ray of Sunshine.
Yes.
I wish, you know.
Yeah, I know what
But
you mean. Yeah.
you know, it's that same sort of
Well,
thing. And it's exactly, it's the
lovely,
same thing. It's the dad. Isn't she lovely? Yeah, very good point. Yeah, it is the same thing about the dad's reactions to having a baby girl. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we should watch this and
Let's do
and
it.
share it. So this is Big Surprise.
Just a baby girl, seeing grays and blues. Cute, dressed in pink and woolen boots. She's got a mother's style. Welcome to our world. We hope you like what's here. We'll do our best to help you through and maintain that smile. I never thought I'd get another sweet daughter. I thought that bit was all done. I'd hope the wife wouldn't place another order, but I guess making her was fun. Oh, to see ya, what a big surprise. Just a little girl in nappies and she's here to brighten up our lives. Little boy, to see ya, what a special surprise. I get the meaning of the universe when I look into your blue eyes, your blue eyes. Soon you'll go to school and skin your knees. You'll have ponytails, wear a party dress, then you'll be 17. Your daddy's not a fool, so be home by 10. No more Barbie toys, I'd rather play with boys. I'll need to know where you've been. Got him much too young to be a grandfather. That's a thought that could leave you cold. You know, I think that I'd really much rather let you stay just 6 weeks old. Oh, to see ya, what a big surprise. Just a little girl in nappies and she's here to brighten up our lives. Little boy, to see ya, what a special surprise. I get the meaning of the universe when I look into your blue eyes, your blue eyes. Oh, to see ya, what a big surprise. Just a little girl in nappies and she's here to brighten up our lives. Little boy, to see ya, what a special surprise. I get the meaning of the universe when I look into your blue eyes, your blue eyes.
I mean, I never know where to put myself. You know, what do I call my music? Country music, country rock. I sort of go urban rock. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah.
But I certainly fit, you know, in the categories for like Tamworth and, you know, the Country Music Channel, things like that.
So any plans of making an album?
You know, it's, I think if I do an album, apart from being really expensive, I feel like these days a lot of folks don't. They release singles because if they release an album, they kind of, I could bury 8 songs. You know, you'd release 2 singles and so I'm not inclined. I think my album will come when I've got enough material released as singles and put it together as an album, I think. I think that I can create, because we're on our own, all us independent artists, and I think that we need to maximize our opportunities for making noise. And I think that's as many independent single releases I can get. I mean, I might be wrong, but that's where my head's at. Yeah.
Okay. So if somebody wants to find out a bit more about you, where do they go?
Go to my website. I've got my own domain name, philsalter.com. and that's a recent revamp and quite a nice website, I think. Self-produced again, myself. You develop some skills in this independent music industry,
absolutely.
don't you? Yeah.
And they can find you on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube channel. Phil Salter, musician, would do the job. Find me there.
Yeah. And Spotify as well.
Spotify, Apple Music. Buy the singles on Apple Music.
Yeah.
Amazon, and a whole bunch of other things that when you distribute it through these aggregators.
That's right. There's a number of
Deezer and all sorts of things that we don't sort of know, but people are listening to it on it because I see the stats of what's happening.
Well, Phil, thanks a lot for coming in today.
Great honour.
Yeah, and I wish you lots of luck.
Thank you.
Phil Salter, and we'll catch you next time.